Hello, it's another beautiful week and it's time for another devlog. What? God damn! Okay, I did flank out on making devlogs for almost 2 months, but I do have a pretty good reason for this. The month of February was my most active month in terms of game development, ever since I started this project around a year and a half ago. By some miracle I've managed to devote nearly every spare minute I had. What? How long now? It's already been a year and a half? God damn! Before we begin, I'd like to have a shout out for the good folk who decided to support me on Patreon. I'm sure I'm gonna butcher your names, but here goes. Roman Dritz and Alec Krasky. Thank you guys, you have my eternal gratitude. Alrighty then, on to the stuff and what's in what. I think it will be only fair if I'll start with what I have been up to. In January, right after my last video went live, I was already boarding a plane to go on a 10-day vacation to Austria. Austrian Alps to be more precise, skiing for the first time. And boy did I love every second of it. Who knew skiing was so much fun? All in all, the trip was amazing. We had every imaginable weather conditions while in the mountains, and the food was delicious at every place we ate. Austria, you have my stamp of approval. Returning home from the mountains, I had some life stuff to take care of, so the month of January was left developmentless. But come February, I was ready to get back to business, and the first order of business was to refactor a bunch of code. While doing that, I've stumbled upon a few errors in my camera controller, which led me down the rabbit hole to fix the whole damn thing once and for all. Now it controls and behaves just the way I wanted it to, and I'm glad I can put a ribbon on it and stash it away for the time being. Like I mentioned in my previous video, camera controller and camera feel is one of the foundations I am building this game upon. So it feels good to have finished such a major piece of the puzzle. The big challenge for this month was to remake the clouds to better suit the art style I'm going for, and to take full control over every little thing I would want to configure, and not least of all, for them to be much more performant than the volumetric ones I used in the past. Especially given that the support for lower end PCs is one of the goals I've set in the beginning pretty high up on the list. Being a complete noob with shaders, I'm pretty happy with the results so far. I've also started adding the code to support local split screen and turn-based multiplayers. Not much more to add at the moment, but stay tuned for more of that. Then I reworked the input schemes. Now you can play the game basically on any input device you have lying around, using gamepads, keyboard and mouse, trackpad for those on the go, this roll of toilet paper. Next was the time control mechanic, which lets you enjoy your usual garden variety physics mayhem porn in a buttery smooth fashion. There's undeniable beauty in chaos. This month also marked the introduction of Undo Redo Manager, which lets me now debug stuff easier and can be later used in a sandbox mode or something. For some reason implementing it was a bit trickier than I expected. I've also updated the UI to a more minimalistic aesthetic, although still far from the finished look, and you can just turn it off for full immersion. Also, I'm experimenting a lot with extending the out-of-the-box physics Unity gets you. There's some fun stuff in the works, but right now I can demonstrate the blast wave mechanic, which might or might not end up in the final release. Fun to play with though. And this is all the major stuff for now, I think. If I'll be fortunate enough to have the same amount of time to devote to development this month, watch out for more occasional devlogs. On a more sentimental note, I'd like to thank everyone who watches me struggle and participates in the community. If you're new to my channel, I invite you to join the Discord server, where a bunch of friendly folk and other devs reside. I also try to post daily, whenever I get to work, to my Twitter. All the links are in description. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time.